Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Flash and thank you for joining me for another Marvel Snap video. And here we have another special one for you, another Black Dama cook. This one is called Rework, and without further ado, let's get straight into the deck breakdown. And before we get into that breakdown, as always, is a little bit of housekeeping. If you could like and subscribe and share this out, very much appreciated. We're really rolling. Positive things are happening. It's all because of y'all. Thank you very much for the support. Rework, Black Dama, you always got a special cook. It's a lot of the times it's kind of off meta or kind of counters the meta. So this is another fun one here. It's looking to hinge your big power threats. Mockingbird, Sasquatch, which is fueled by Mysterio. It's looking to cheat things out early with Electro, but you can mitigate the downside of Electro through means of Nico Minoru or Blink, or even Cersei. So those are all options to get rid of the Electro. Alioth to shut down, because you've probably gained priority at some point here. Alioth to shut that stuff down. Shang-Chi to answer big threats. Blink to, cheat out some of your big threats while also getting rid of your downside of Electro. And Gwenpool just to pump things up. Cassandra Nova to counter Arishem. It's a lot of fun things happening here. Let's kind of get into the card by card breakdown. Nico Minoru is just an overall good card in the game. She's the best one drop in the game and arguably one of the best cards, singularly one of the best cards in Marvel Snap. Her main crux in this deck is to mitigate the downside of Electro by blowing it up, and you get to draw 2 cards off of that. It's a very strong interaction, but Nico Minoru is just good and she does other things good as well. Mysterio is here for the primary reason of getting your Mockingbird cheaper, discounting how much that Sasquatch is going to cost by 3, and one of the clones becomes a target that you can hit with Cersei, and it's going to become a 3-drop, which could be something very good. Heck, could be Sage, Cassandra Nova even, just something, right? A good 3/5, or Mysterio is just good for being a versatile piece in this deck. And of course, you have Cassandra Nova. She's very good against Arishem. I mean, she's excellent against Arishem. She's very good against Thanos. She's just good overall. And I've explained this in videos prior, where you get her down on turn 3. She's a 3/7, but you have to understand that 3/7 grows every time your opponent plays one of those cards that she hit. She grows in value. She becomes a 3/8, a 3/9, a 3/10. So it's a 3/7 on board, but the swing in overall power and value is sometimes unaccounted for and very underrated. Electro is great at helping you cheat out things before you should be able to play them. Now, a lot of times people was like, well, I could just play Hope Summers instead. You'd be right. That's true. But Electro has a unique positioning in this deck where he's a target for Nico. He's a target for Cersei. It's a target for Blink. Electro is sneaky good in that particular instance and is playing a good role here in this build. Shang-Chi, because I don't need to explain why Shang-Chi is good. He's still the best tech card in the game. Has been since the inception of Marvel Snap. He answers all the big threats. It's Shang-Chi. Come on. We know what he does here. Gwenpool is very good across the board. I heard somebody ask prior, I forget where I was at, but they're like, well, what is Gwenpool good with? Well, what kind of decks is she good in? What does she pair well with? Everything. Gwenpool is a good utility card. Utility cards are not cards that you build an entire deck around. They're good where they're good. Gwenpool, Fastos, America Chavez, Forge, Hulkbuster, utility cards. They're good where they're good. Period. End of story. And if you hit Mysterio with this Gwenpool, man, buco value. And of course, what would be a Black Dama deck without the man himself, Professor X? Because locking down a lane is still very good, unless you're playing against somebody who happens to be playing either a move deck or B, a move package, whether it be Jeff, Nocturne, Vision, Nightcrawler, whatever. Professor X is still just very good. because most opponents aren't playing cards with the intent of having a location locked down. Especially now, things have changed so much in the game that people kind of forget about Professor X, and that's where he gets even more dangerous, especially with Electro. The ability to play him out on turn 4, very good. It always has been, always will be. Blink. Blink is good as getting to those big threats that you have, you know, in Sasquatch, Mockingbird, etc. Also mitigating the downside of Electro, very good. Blink is just good at what she does. Period. Right? You don't need too much explanation there. Cersei, good for getting rid of Electro. You can play her on top of one of the clones. You can play her if you played an early Shang-Chi, quote unquote early, or you played Shang-Chi out on turn 4. You can now Cersei that Shang-Chi and get much better value out of it after that. So don't underestimate that as a play line and something that you can do. Don't forget that. Alioth, another card that once forgotten about, gets very better. Very better? Gets much better. Anyway, shuts down big threats, end game threats, as long as you've maintained priority. If you got priority, you're good. You can play Alioth on a lane that on a lane that you are attempting to win, but you haven't yet, for example, locked down with Professor X, right? Because you lock down a lane with Professor X that you're winning. You play Alioth in another lane as long as you have priority, and you win most of those games unless you're just playing a big, singularly large card that is much bigger than Alioth, and that doesn't happen too frequently. Mockingbird, still one of the best cards in the game. Okay? Discounted by Mysterio. She's discounted by 3 with Mysterio, and if you play a Cersei and Cersei changes an Electro or Mysterio clone, her value now goes up even more. Okay, she's going to be even cheaper. With Mysterio, she's 3. In the example that I just laid out, she might even be a 2 or a 1. Very good. It's Mockingbird, right? Sasquatch. Now, Sasquatch is great here 2 ways. You can blink her out, or you can get her discounted. You play Mysterio, and whatever turn you play Mysterio, if you want to get her out early, think about the ability to play, let's say Mysterio. Let's take Electro out of the equation for a second, and you play Mysterio on turn, let's call it turn 3. You play Sasquatch on turn 4, and you follow that up with Professor X and lock that lane down on turn 5. You're doing something very strong that your opponent is not necessarily accounting for. Okay, so in that instance, you may have gained priority, and even if they try to Shang-Chi you and you Professor X that lane, you're good to go. All right, so let's get some games in with this deck and see how it performs. Okay, I would like to put a caveat out that I have not played a single solitary game with this deck. So we're going to be doing this for the first time together. Let's figure this out. Well, y'all will just be watching. It'll be me figuring it out, but come on. You're included. It's fire. Yikes. Nothing happening yet. So far just a Nebula down. Now Lizard. This is not Arishem, so I'm not sure what's happening here. If this was 10 months ago, I'd be like, oh, this is Shuri. But this is not 10 months ago. Man, we are... It's an ongoing deck? Looks like we're just playing Gwenpool. Which... Yeah, I mean, we can Gwenpool into Blink. Well, we could have, but unfortunately Dream Dimension is going to ruin that. We're immediately running out of good plays. This has been a terrible draws. My goodness. I mean, I can just Shang-Chi. I mean, dang, this is pretty bad. I mean, it's a good Shang-Chi, but this is still pretty bad. Overall, the board state is not set up in a way where this deck is designed to win. Let's see what kind of finishing line we can come up with here. They are gonna have priority going into the last turn. Double this card's power. I mean, look, is this a good play? What I'm about to do? Probably it's not the best thing, but there's at least a chance we can come away with a stolen victory here. I don't know. We'll see. What do we got? Iron Man? Okay. I would hate to think this was a bot all along. Also, I probably should have filled the right lane to take Lizard down to, what, 1? Whoops. Looks like we didn't even have to do that. This is weird. I feel like this may have been a bot. I don't know. But it's got the new avatar. Just very weird. Just very weird. I don't know. Look, I don't ask questions. We just play the game. Let's off to the next one. You know, even though things didn't go according to the plan of the deck, I still kind of like it. And I know that's kind of early to say. This is literally the second game with the deck. But I am always a fan of the Black Dama Cooks. His playstyle, I mean, granted, he has a lockdown sort of playstyle, and it's very usually off meta, but I just love his style. And he's just just a cool dude overall. Now, of course, they're playing something, fill all the lanes, Ultron, it could be Doctor Doom. So they have the advantage, and they're going to win Sanctum Sanctorum. My only opportunity here is to, try and, I have to swoop priority, because that's the only, okay, well, Nico is good, but with that ability, it's just, if I send something over here, it's not going to be big enough unless it's Mockingbird, because just straight Ultron after this, hypothetically, to the 2, 4, 6, 8, the 16, it's not enough. We have to fight a different game here. Okay, there's a Doctor Doom. Like I said, it had to be one of those two things or both. That opens up the ability for them to doom again, or Ultron. They was already doomed. It's, it's a lot happening here. There's Blink. What are we blinking into? Cersei. That's the only thing we have as an option to blink into. Okay. The problem we are going to run into. Yeah, we're kind of stuck. We're just stuck. We're stuck because, yeah, we're not going to be able to do all the things here. It's fine. Yeah, there's the Sandman. Just to put the further icing on the cake of we're kind of screwed in this game is that there's the Sandman. Interesting play there. So is that. And yet progressively worse for us. Yeah, that's okay. We had a chance to do something if we were able to play multiple cards, but we're not going to be able to. So sadly, this is a straightaway retreat. It happens. Let's continue along. So thus far, we haven't, again, been able to get the main lines going here. So here's Electro, so that's a start. Some of these decks, I think this one might be positioned well to go up against the Sandman, Patriot, all of that stuff, because you're getting to lock out a lane. All right, so we got discard here. See how this matchup goes. I like the Electro, but sure. We don't have a way to rid the downside, and we can lose one of our important cards here. Honestly, of them, I can live with that one because at least we still retain our Mysterio Mockingbird combo. You know what? let's drop the Prof. I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think this is a good play, but now let's do a little bit of this here. Good thing I didn't do that, huh? Good pivot. So she hit Mysterio, which is good. I like that. We like that a lot. Prof is now better. But yeah, we'll just drop the Mysterio. Let's do this in case we want to. Well, we can't encase anything here. I probably should have done Mysterio. Lord have mercy. I probably should have did the real Mysterio in the middle lane. That way we could have at least come back with Cersei in the left, but yeah, we're not looking good here. And that's not gonna really help us. Even if she blinks this, it's gonna become Cersei, and that would help here, but I'm not sure if it helps enough. I hope that's what it would do. Oh, it looks like she's gonna choose this one. Oh, I don't like that. That's terrible. That's immediately bad. So I guess we'll just Mockingbird and hope for the best. There's APOC. There's Mockingbird. Not big enough. Like I said, proof pudding that we should have put the real Mysterio in the middle lane. There's the actual proof. There's the receipt. Let's keep it rolling. And understand that even though you might play a deck and the win rate isn't through the roof, that's on average, you should always expect decks to balance out towards about the 50-ish, percent win rate mark. It's about how you play the deck. It's about your cube equity and how well, and to be fair, just how much you're having fun with it. This Deadpool is about to get very worse unless they play a Carnage now. Normally, if they don't get to play a Carnage now or a Hulkbuster, I'm gonna float because I don't. Yeah, you have to play that now because otherwise the Deadpool goes to 0 and then gets much less useful unless you have that Hulkbuster or Forge. I don't love it, but we'll just. I mean, Cassandra on 3 that's the best time to play her, right? She's also, to be fair, another target for Cersei. Okay, there's the Hulkbuster, but sucks to be them because Vibranium Mines, 2 hits on Vibranium Mines, just 6 extra Vibranium in the deck is terrible. And we have Shang on deck here. We're now looking at a situation where we want to do this, I think. We can set up Blink, because for whatever reason, from what it looks like, yes, because the right lane Mysterio ends up being the last. Why would they play Killmonger in that lane? I guess because the next turn they're going to want to come back with Deadpool and maybe Venom or something like that. Blink reads the right Mysterio as the last one played, so duh, that makes sense. Things. Alright, so we got a Vibranium also. I'm tempted to blink because we're going to blink into something better. Problem is that if we blink, we could blink into Electro. And I don't want to blink into Electro. That's not necessarily good for us. But we can try it. We'll see what happens. I almost want to play the Vibranium to, maybe discount Mockingbird further. I don't know. Let's blink into something. Let's see what happens. Let's try something, right? Why not? Jotunheim is an interesting place for them to put the Deadpool because it's going to dodge Shang-Chi. That's a good play. So if they put and they retreated, they didn't have a lot going on, and nor were they playing it in a good way. So And Hellfire Club didn't do them any favors. So let's get another one in. All right, so they're playing Arsham, and the irony of that is that their username here is You're Boring. Well, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? Lizard. We have Cassandra Nova. There's a good chance though they have Shang. There's a good chance that they're running, Loki, so which means they could end up with our Shang. We'll see what happens. But I'm good with a Cassandra Nova into Chimichanga. Sure. This is a great targeted lane for Professor X if we can get to it. Right? Which all that means is that we got to get through the next turn, maintaining priority, and then we're good. But since I'm going to play something left and hope that they don't have Shang. Perfect. Gwenpool, you couldn't have come at a better time. If they have Shang, then oh well. Okay, early Shang. I don't mind them burning that. It's all good. It is what it is. Professor X is dangerous in the left lane. Let's put him in the right lane, because if they put like Blob left, let's see what happens. Big Hulk. And Prof shuts that down. Then we can, also, what I forgot to mention, Nico could also turn Electro into a demon, which also would mitigate the downside. Yeah, it's just Nico into Shang. And then Nico turns Shang into a demon. There's Arasham. And now who's boring? A surprising well-played Professor X can go a long way, my friends. Alright, let's close this out. Alright, so that is the deck rework by the homie Black Dama. If you love locking things down, if you want a reason to play Professor X and Cersei and Blank, etc., go ahead, go and get you some of this deck right here. It's fun stuff. As you've seen in the games, it can go either way, but when you win, you can definitely win without doing the exact, play line of this, right? It's got a few win conditions, and sometimes you got to play around with the, the different kind of opportunities that are available to you that the deck has a few different outs that are very fun, very good. Give it a shot, and like I said, go check out the homie Black Dama. He's on Twitter, right, as 6LACY. You'll see, y'all have it down in the thing, whatever. All right, y'all, I'm Flash. Catch you guys on the next video. Peace.